Similar to most millennials, I have spent the past couple of years dreaming and saving to buy my very first home, to be the first-time home buyer. At the end of last year, we thought we were nearly there until the pandemic happened. Like most others, we were impacted by the situation, and we realized soon after that we wouldn't be able to save that much anymore. So we kind of pushed the idea of buying the first home to next year until this happened.
To catalyse the housing market and boost confidence, I have decided today to cut stamp duty. Right now, there is no stamp duty on transactions below £125,000. Today, I am increasing the threshold to £500,000.
And then we thought we needed to take this opportunity. I know a lot of people have decided to buy a house due to the stamp duty holiday, so if that is you, then I think this video is very beneficial for you. However, for those of you who are still saving for your deposit to buy your first home, I promise you, you'll get there, and I hope this video is a good point of reference for the future. All the timestamps and the topics covered are linked in the description below, so feel free to jump around. Before you do anything at all, what you need is a mortgage in principle. What it is basically a documentation from the bank confirming how much they are happy for you to borrow based on your current level of income and current level of financial obligations. You can get mortgage in principle directly online via the bank website, and it doesn't even mean that you have to borrow from that particular lender. The reason I'm saying this is important is, first of all, to gauge how much you can actually borrow. A lot of times, estate agent will ask you for the mortgage in principle before they even book you for a viewing, so it is very handy to have in hand. Once you've got your mortgage in principle, then it comes the viewing. Obviously, this is a fun part of the whole process, and the house that you want to book for viewing obviously will depend on what you're looking for in your very first home. My very first tip that I can give you during this process is that to bear in mind that you can change anything about the house, but you cannot change the location. As a first-time home buyer, I think it's very easy when you go for viewings that you think, oh, you can live in this place, and you feel a bit of pressure to put down the offer. There are loads of properties that we looked at, and the house itself looked amazing. However, it was located in an undesirable location. So for us, for example, being within the walkable distance to the good transport links and not too close to the main road was kind of one of the boxes that we needed to tick. What's the time? Stop. Yeah, so 13 minutes. Yeah. Total walk time. When it comes to the offer, it all comes down to how much the house is worth for you. Remember, this is going to be your home, so it doesn't really matter what other people think. For us, for example, we realized quite early on in the process that it was a seller's market. So we didn't really have that much negotiation power, and we didn't go aggressive on the offering price neither. We were looking at houses during the time that, there's a lot of cost savings for buyers. Houses got taken off the market in like matter of days or even hours. The tip I can give you is to look at the historical price of the house. I think this information is available on the internet anyway. Rightmove definitely would have this information, and Purplebricks as well. Look at the historical price, look at the condition of the house now, and perhaps compare it with the selling price of the other houses in the area and gauge how much that house is worth for you. There are always going to be that friends or family members that say to you, oh, maybe you're paying too much, it is a little bit expensive, but remember, it is all about you. Once you've got your offer accepted, this is the times when difficulties and challenges will pop up. One thing to bear in mind is that in England and Wales, house offer is not legal binding. What this means is that until the sales contracts being exchanged, or exchange in short, any party in the sales process can pull out of the deal. So either seller or buyer can pull out from the sale. In Scotland, however, the house offer is legal binding. Once your offer is accepted, there are a couple of things that you need to do immediately. First of all is to ask your estate agent to take the house off the market so that no one can go view the house or put the offer on the house. Second of all, appoint mortgage advisor, and third of all, appoint your solicitor. This brings me to my very next tip, and I think is something that has helped me tremendously, which is do your best to make sure that your estate agent, your mortgage advisor and solicitor either know each other or have worked together before. This ensures that the whole process goes quickly, smoothly and as painlessly as possible for you. I mean, as if buying the house is not stressful enough. How we approached it was to ask the estate agent their recommended solicitors. So once we've got that list, we picked one solicitor that has the office nearby, and then we passed that information on to the mortgage advisor. The mortgage advisor came back to us and said that he's worked with a solicitor before, so that was brilliant. And that was pretty much the last communication I had with these three parties. A couple of weeks after then, I got the mortgage approval, and not too long after I got documentations from the solicitor. So I do really think that having those three people that can work together really well helped with the process. I know a couple of people that were buying a house at the same time as we did, and speaking to them, it wasn't uncommon for them to have problems. And I think one of the main problems was that these parties did not work together as a team. So if all goes well after you receive the mortgage approval, you should be receiving a big pile of documentation from your solicitor. Some of these documentation will include the title of the house, the fixtures and fittings included in the house. Make sure that you go through all these documentation like your life depends on it. Gas safety check, electricity check, how old is the boiler, flood risks. These are some of the items that you should be looking out for and make sure that you are happy with the condition. Now, if you're a first-time home buyer like me, I would really recommend you to get an independent survey of the house done. This report will include the condition of the house, if there will be any immediate repairs that you should be aware of. And there are a couple of reasons that I would recommend this. First of all, buying a house obviously will put you in a great deal of mortgage debt. So you really want to know what you're getting yourself into. Secondly, if the house requires some fundamental and expensive repairs, you might be able to go back to the seller and ask them to reduce the asking price. However, be careful with this because, as I said previously, an offer is not legally binding in England and Wales, so you don't want to be aggressive on trying to ask the seller to reduce the price because the seller can then pull out. So do this very sensibly. So when everyone is happy with the terms and conditions, then it comes the exchange of the contract of the sales. So this is the point of time where the lender will be taking the deposit off you and all the parties sign the contract. Just to bear in mind that I am not quite there just yet. The home survey report has highlighted some of the problems which I have gone back to the seller and I'm still waiting for their responses. So at this point in time, now we are in end of October, and from what I know, everyone wants to exchange right around end of November or even before. So I don't think anything can go wrong at this point. So we should be exchanging in a couple of weeks, hopefully. Once exchanged, then everyone needs to agree on completion date. Completion is when everyone gets their keys, and that's when your mortgage payment is activated. In the UK, the average time between the exchange and completion is around 2 to 4 weeks. Now, with all that being said, let's go through some of the timelines of buying a home here in the UK. We started the whole process mid-August. I think if I remember correctly, it was August the 13th. Offer was accepted mid-September, and that is the same time that we appointed solicitor and mortgage advisor. The mortgage application was approved a couple of weeks after, so it was beginning of October. The documentation from solicitor was received 2 weeks after, so mid-October. The exchange is expected to be right around mid-November and complete end of November. So if everything goes well, that means it will take me 3.5 months total for this process from start to finish, which I think is actually not that long at all. And to be honest, we haven't really chased any parties really. It would have been quicker if we were really on top of things, like if we were chasing the mortgage advisor or solicitor. Now, what about other costs apart from the deposit? It is important to note that apart from the deposit, there are going to be some other costs involved in this process. So it's good to set aside some money to cover all these costs. So here are all the actual costs and fees that I paid. Mortgage advisor, £500. The independent surveyor, £700. Solicitor, I haven't paid this yet, but the total cost should be around £1,600. Of course, stamp duty, £0. So in total, I paid roughly around £2,800. And that was it, guys. That was all my story and all the tips that I have noted down throughout this process that I wanted to share with you. If you're still trying to get your deposit together, I do have a video on the methods that I implemented to build and improve my credit score here in the UK, so that could potentially be helpful for you. If you like this video, please support this channel by giving it a thumbs up, and feel free to leave some comments as well, because I do read all of the comments and I do respond to the majority of them. I'll see you next time. Take care. ขอบคุณค่ะ